In the last video, we saw how to load data into Edelweiss, but sometimes data files don't load correctly, and in that case it might be necessary to change the settings of how it was loaded. Whenever you load data into Edelweiss, you get these kind of icons at the bottom, and you can double-click these to show a dialog that allows you to choose the format of your specific data file. It's also possible to choose this upon loading instead of afterwards. If you go to Table, Load Tables Advanced, for example, if I choose this EasyLab data file, now I get to choose the settings before the file is actually loaded. You can also select several data files here from different folders and so on, and they will be shown at the top. And below that you will get a file preview. This just shows the beginning of the data file for you to find the correct settings to load the data. So we see that we have a lot of table data here, and above that quite a few lines containing other information about the experiment. At the bottom we see the specific settings that are used to load the data file. Beginning on the left-hand side, for example, we have the automatic settings checkbox. Checking this will make it automatically detect the settings for each data file, but unticking it we can then choose it manually. It's also possible to load fixed width table data. Then we have to specify here the width in characters of all the columns that we want to load. The next one is metadata, and this pertains to this beginning of the data file. So in this file, as well as many other experimental data files, the beginning of the file doesn't include actual table data, but has other information about the experiment. And this is, for example, electrolyte, LPSCL, comments, etc., etc. So since we have here a colon separating the title and the value of the metadata, this metadata separator should be a colon, as it is here. So for your data file it might be something else, like equal sign or whatever. So if you set this correctly here, then this metadata can be loaded into Edelweiss and used for other purposes. And the next thing that we might want to set is the number of lines. So this is just how many lines are here at the beginning of the data file before the actual table data starts. So in this case it's 123 lines before the table starts. So this is correctly identified here already as 123, but if we untick this find automatically, we can set it manually. But if we tick this, it will be automatically detected for each file separately that we load. Then for the actual table data here, we have one header line with the titles of the columns. So we can choose the number of header lines here, as well as the column separator, and if we have a decimal, comma, or point, for example. We can also choose the date and time formats. If we have columns that contain dates or times, we can choose the format here, and then it will load correctly as that data type instead of just loading as text. Finally, for Excel spreadsheets, the default is to load all the sheets in the file into separate tables, but we can also untick this box and choose the sheet number, and then just one of the sheets will be loaded. And this is 0 indexed, so if we have 0 here, then just the first sheet will be loaded. And if I go ahead and press OK, now we will load this data table and we get all of the data here that is present in the data file. And as we saw in the last video, if I press Show Metadata, I will see all of the metadata that was loaded. In this case, we have quite a lot more from all of those lines that were at the top of the file. And as mentioned, this can be used for quite a few different functions in Edelweiss. And just as an example, we have here this acquisition started on. And this is a timestamp for the 0 time of this measurement. And this can be used to synchronize the data against another table. So this we'll use as an example in a later video. And in the next video, we'll talk about how you can go ahead and plot the data that you have just loaded.